We are so excited to announce a new guest on our show. We have top producing real estate agent, broker, and team leader of the John Hunter team of Century 21, John Hunter. John, thanks for being on with us.
Well, thank you. Thanks. Glad to be here.
So, John, we're going to get a little personal today since this is your first time on the show. Tell me a little bit about how and why you got into the real estate business.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Well, ironically, when I was 13 years old is when I discovered I wanted to be a real estate agent. Most kids dream of being doctors and astronauts, and I guess I dreamed of being a real estate agent. My mom and dad sold their home in Sacramento, California, and the real estate agent drove up in a Porsche and jumped out in snakeskin boots and stonewashed jeans back in 1988. And that was the coolest thing I'd seen up to that point, and so I thought my dad had always encouraged me to get into the real estate business at a young age, and so when I saw the fruits of that realtor's labors, at 13 years old, I made the decision I was going to be a realtor.
I love that. Forget the rock stars. The real estate agents are rock stars, right?
I think most real estate agents try to be rock stars.
Well, you certainly are a rock star. Tell me, did you get into real estate when you were living in California or when you moved to Utah?
I didn't. When I lived in California, I had just recently got married and I owned a landscaping company, and so I mowed lawns and I worked really, really hard, and so my work ethic was already there. It wasn't until I moved to Utah in 1995 that I pursued real estate school, and then from there received my license, and away I went. My father-in-law owned a real estate brokerage at the time, and so I started and got my feet wet with him, and then after that got my mortgage broker's license in 1998 and used the dual license. Back before the 2000 era, you could do both lending and real estate, and so I did. And for the most part, I failed for about 5 straight years. I lived on credit and did everything I could to keep myself in the business because I knew those that had made it were successful. So I had the tenacity, I had the drive. I was super young and didn't know a whole lot. And about 5 or 6 years into it is when I started to gain traction. I learned more about the mortgage business, how mortgages worked, and how that curtailed into the real estate, helping buyers buy homes. And so after that, getting my license and learning the business for about 5 years, I was able to help buyers buy homes and do their loans. And through advertisement, I was able to do it on a high volume level. And so at that point in time, I learned very rapidly how the real estate business worked.
Now, you had over a decade of experience then when the crash of 2008 happened. How did you survive that?
Prior to 2007, 2008, I had done well enough that I started to buy my own portfolio of real estate. So I owned about 7 properties at the time. I was doing high-end fix and flips, my own rental properties, and it was great. I loved it. It was wonderful up until the market crashed and nobody could pay rent anymore, and banks stopped lending me money to renovate properties that I had bought. And so I found myself in a world of trouble at the time, to be quite honest with you. I had to short sell homes. I had to scramble. I had to talk to banks. I had to try to figure out what I could do to get by. And it was in some of those darkest hours where I learned the most, where I was able to find that inner strength and find those ways to succeed, I guess you'd say, for lack of a better term. And it was from there that and then during those times when the market was down, it was very, very lean. And it was because of my wonderful and great friends and clients that believed in me and had faith in me and were loyal to me, that allowed me to help them sell their home or buy their home or help them buy a home, that I was able to feed my family and put shoes on my children's feet. So the gratitude that I had for my clients, it just soared tremendously. And before that, I probably had a little bit more ego and felt like, well, I'm the reason why we're doing great here, and I'm selling your home for a wonderful price, because I know these certain things. But it wasn't until the crash that I realized it was the other way around, that it was my clients and those that loved and supported me were where my success had come from. And from then on, I've had nothing but a grateful heart for those that I serve, and I'm 100% thankful and grateful for those people that support me and allow me to serve them in real estate.
Well, that's very kind of you to say, John. I would also argue, though, that it was your work ethic, your tenacity that really has gotten you to this place of expert status in the real estate industry. We really appreciate you being on with us. We can't wait for you to come back, hear what else you have to say. I want to encourage people in the area to reach out to you, go on your website, learn more about you. And we'll see you next time. Okay, John?
Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
Thank you.